Well, we have arrived, gentlemen. The last PHNX Cardinal podcast presented by the DraftKings Sportsbook app. The last show before the show this coming Thursday, April 28th, live, the Ainsworth, all of us together. But today is the day for our PHNX Cardinals mock draft. Gentlemen, how we doing?
Let's do it.
Fantastic. Let's get these players on some teams. Actually, a logical mock draft. We're not going to get too crazy, right? Are anybody got some pretty wild picks up their sleeves?
I don't know.
We're gonna try to be. I don't know. I don't want to say conservative. We're not gonna allow trades.
Okay.
Right. So here are the rules of this mock draft. As Phoenix Suns in the chat says, "Go Suns."
Okay.
Yes. This could be your pregame for a very tense Suns game tonight. We're hoping to alleviate a lot of those concerns here on PHNX Cardinals podcast presented by the DraftKings Sportsbook app. I do want to remind everybody, be sure to like, subscribe, leave us a 5-star review. This is the show today. We're going to go pick by pick, all 32 picks in the first round. Myself, Bo, Damien Anderson, and we're going to see how this shit falls. When we get to pick 23, it will be a joint collaborative effort here. We're going to talk about it, talk about some scenarios, but we're going to go 1 through 32, gentlemen. Can't even control myself. I'm so excited. I have offered up. Bo asked who's going to go first, and I said, me. I'm going to go first. So I didn't even give Damien or Bo a chance to get it started. So producer Leah is going to crush it. She's got a graphic queued up for us. Can we see the graphic template, Leah? Do you have that? She says no. It will be ready after 8 picks, and we're going to rock and roll. We've already got people in the chat. Chris Ramos, speaking to the choir, brother, no defense, please. Love hearing that. Love hearing the no defense calls.
I got a feeling we're going to see a lot of defense in the top 5, unlike last year where we didn't see the first defensive player go off the board until J.C. Horn to the Carolina Panthers. Are we prepared for any YouTube comment or username sabotage today?
You know, I thought we would leave that dead and buried yesterday. I was hopeful that we wouldn't bring it up, yet here we are 2 minutes into the show, and Bo is talking about something that took place yesterday. If you want to go back and watch that, I'm not going to discourage anybody from watching our fine program. Damien Anderson, how do you feel before we embark on our first mock together?
I mean, it's a little pressure, you know, because I like winning in most things that I'm competitive in. And, you know, I take pride in that. And I want to beat you and Bo. So that's where we're at.
It's good to have big dreams, you know.
That's where we're at.
Again, this is our last show before Thursday. Yeah. We're going to be at the Ainsworth. Quick, not shameless plug, but the plug for the party of the year. PHNX Cardinals live April 28th at the Ainsworth, 4 p.m. Gentlemen, we just got word before we went live, 200 RSVPs thus far. Smoke. Max capacity has been increased, gentlemen, to 300 people. That's because, in part, CB1 Byron Murphy is going to be in the house, meet and greet, first 50 people through the door, handshake, autograph, picture, hanging out, talking ball, come shoot the shit with myself, Bo, Damien, Frank Sanders, among a plethora of guests. We're going to have drink specials, food specials, giveaways. That's at the Ainsworth in downtown Phoenix. It is going to be the party of the year, and I'm so excited, Bo, that so many people have turned out on their RSVP list. I think this number is only going to continue to go up.
Yeah, it's going to be huge. As we said, it's a massive night here in AZ as far as a sports night. You got the Suns, Game 6. Hopefully them sealing the deal against the Pelicans. I would like them to go away for our draft party, and then we can focus on the first round pick the next day, and then the Suns, next round series. We can figure out where Kyler Murray's allegiance potentially lies, because it could be the Phoenix Suns versus the Dallas Mavericks, his hometown team. Who's he rooting for in that series? Do I need to not ruffle those feathers right now before our mock draft?
It's a lot. It's a lot to think about. It's a lot of layers to it, Bo. But with that party at the Ainsworth for draft, I know we have a apart in here about a read, it might be a good time to get that shot because there's going to be a lot of close talking going on at the Ainsworth. Like you said, Johnny.
If the Suns lose and the Cardinals take a defensive back, I will not be able to control myself, especially if the Suns lose the series. Tonight is a must-win, needless to say. Phoenix Suns in the chat making a point. Suns game and draft is making fans nervous. You should be nervous. We all should be nervous. But today is a celebratory day in the sense that it's our first PHNX Cardinals mock draft on the clock. These three gentlemen in front of you, we're going to kick it off now with the first pick. I've been gifted it because I stole it. Jacksonville Jaguars on the clock. Trent Baalke and company. The dysfunctional Jags do what they do, right? Jags going to jag. They've got Mr. Hutchinson, University of Michigan standout available. Nope. I'm going to go with the Sharks in Vegas. First overall pick. Jacksonville Jaguars take Trayvon Walker, edge rusher, University of Georgia. My mock is going to be what I believe what will happen, not what I will happen. You gentlemen can take your own approach. But, Bo, I think Trayvon goes first overall come Thursday to the Jaguars.
That's where the money's going as far as Vegas is concerned, betting favorite. It's pretty astounding. I mean, when we were talking about Walker, if you would have said this in January, I think a lot of people would have called you crazy. But here we are on the just the day before the eve of the draft. Trayvon Walker is the favorite to go and falling into the Detroit Lions' lap because they were rascals and they wanted to beat the Arizona Cardinals in a game late in the season. They don't have the number 1 overall pick. They've got the number 2 pick, and they still get their guy because I'm going to go with the kid from Michigan, Aiden Hutchinson. He's staying in state, and he's going to the Detroit Lions. Sure, they could look at the quarterback position, Malik Willis, but I think, look, this draft, I don't think you can take Willis 2 overall. You might be able to take him down the line. Maybe even at 32, they could take a quarterback. They've got that pick. But the Lions at number 2 overall take it, Aiden Hutchinson. Beast, 3 sacks against the rival Ohio State. He got invited to the Heisman Trophy ceremony, and he's going to be playing in Michigan to start his pro career.
How fast do the Lions turn in that card if Trayvon Walker is the first overall pick? I think it harkens back to once upon a time. Sam Bradford going first to the St. Louis Rams. The Lions gifted Ndamukong Suh. Damien, I think that's a gift from the heavens. And really the draft, Damien, starts with you at pick 3, right? We know who the first 2 picks are going to be.
So it's going to be Houston. They're a train wreck right now. They got a lot going on and they have a lot of needs, right? So, but I'm going to start, like I say, it always starts up front. I'm going to go offensive line with tackle from Alabama, Evan Neal.
I like it.
It's a safe pick. It's a guy that's proven. It's what they need. They're not going to get a lot of flack from fans. I know that they want to see something explosive, but it's for the long-term rebuilding process. It all starts up front.
I like that pick a lot. I was at the Combine. I saw him in person. He's the most shredded 330-pound specimen you've ever seen. He talked about a story quickly, gentlemen, 2 years ago. Somebody asked him what was his proudest moment at the University of Alabama. He said he got COVID and then was essentially on injured reserve for 2 weeks, like couldn't get off the couch, breathing problems, basically willed his way to play in the SEC championship game, had a standout performance, has all the intangibles. And Damien's right. Like if you're Houston, you need some safe picks here. And I know they have Laramie Tunsil under contract, but now you got bookend tackles with he and Evan Neal for a quarterback that could use some support that's not overly mobile. So I love that pick. I think they're going to go tackle. It's just, what's your preference? The New York Jets potentially could need a tackle, by the way. They're at pick 4. There's word Mekhi Becton may never play football for them again. He's got weight issues, maturity issues. So, gentlemen, I'm kind of tempted right now based on what I'm hearing. New York Jets at 4. The Giants would love a tackle. I'm going to take Ikem Akawanu, Icky from NC State. The New York Jets go safe. Zach Wilson, blindside protector, can never have too many quality linemen, especially in the dreaded AFC East with a ton of quality defensive coaches. Icky goes 4 to the New York Jets. Mr. Bo Brock, you are on the clock.
Let's stay in the building in East Rutherford for pick number 5, the New York Giants. And I think the G-men are going to start to go offense, but not with pick 5, even though they brought in Brian Dable, who's known for his play calling on the offensive side with Josh Allen. At number 5, they're going to falling into their lap, arguably, the best athlete in this entire draft. Kayvon Thibodeau, Oregon,
Wow.
the edge rusher. I think that, look, what do you think of when you think about the Giants? You think about that pass rush, Strahan, Justin Tuck, you got OC, all those guys that ruined Tom Brady's perfect record in the Super Bowl. So I think that they're trying to get back to their roots a little bit, even though they have an offensive coach.
Quickly, does it concern you that no Oregon edge rusher really has ever panned out? We've talked about it, right?
No.
There, every like 4 or 5 years, we get an Oregon edge rusher that's a top 10 pick, and they seemingly all bust. What was that kid in 2013? The Cardinals took Jonathan Cooper.
Deion Jordan.
Deion Jordan was the talk of the league, right?
Local kid, yep.
Yeah, and there's been a ton of those Oregon defensive ends. Now, I do think this kid has the highest upside, maybe of any edge rusher in this class, higher than Aiden Hutchinson, but you just wonder, does he love football? I think the talk of him falling has been premature. Bo, to your point, he's still going top 10. Where he falls is, remains to be seen. But I like that pick a lot for the Giants. Their pass rush has been pretty bad for some time.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, I know we got Carolina. There's been a lot of talk with Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, Malik Willis, and also Kenny Pickett. But I think that it's a prove me wrong, prove me right year with Sam Darnold, and I think that they're going to stick with the offensive line and protecting him, guys. I'm going Charles Cross, Mississippi State.
Love this meat and potato draft. We talked about it, leading up. This is not a sexy draft, right? Like it might be for us, people who are in the chat. We love football, but the casual fan, like my wife doesn't know who these people are, but she knew last year, right? Who Trevor Lawrence was. You got to know Trey Lance, and everybody knew Justin Fields, right? Mac Jones.
Mm-hmm.
We've got how many picks in? We're 6 picks in, and we've got 3 tackles.
No sexy yet, Johnny.
No sexy.
No sexy yet.
I'm gonna sexy it up a little bit here. So Giants are on the clock again. This is the pick from Chicago. The Chicago Bears, Justin Fields, the trade up last year. And I don't know if you guys have been keeping track. Their skill positions are a hot mess disaster, right? There's talk of Kenny Galladay, one of the worst free agent signings of recent memory. No touchdowns last year. I think he got like 18 to 20 million per season. The kid that they took, Kadarius Toney, out of Florida last year, I loved him, right? I thought he was going to be a great player. Maturity issues. Now he's been in the building. They're looking for a second-round pick. I just think if you're trying to assess this team, we know Brian Daboll loves his skill players, as we saw in Buffalo. You got to get some adequate targets. I think this is where we see the first receiver off the board. And I think it's a lot of people, maybe not the best, the highest ceiling, but the most complete today. It's Garrett Wilson, wide receiver, Ohio State, goes to the G-men, the New York Giants, at pick 7 for whomever is going to be throwing him the football long-term, Mr. Bo Brock.
I think Daboll would love that pick. They're paying the most money to their wide receiver room, and as you mentioned, the numbers they don't look like it. Absolutely don't look like it. Number 8, the Atlanta Falcons, who could be a big wild card. I mean, when you're sitting in the Arizona Cardinals sitting at 23, this is a team that can kind of really pivot the draft depending on where they go. They did it last year too at 4. They ended up going with Kyle Pitts, and that was a worthy selection. He looked good catching passes from Kyler Murray in the Pro Bowl. 8th overall. I think that the wide receiver position could be where they want to go. Quarterback they could look at, but I think that they want to pair AJ Terrell, who is already shaping up to be an elite shutdown corner. If they can get a guy off the edge, and who's the next best guy in this draft, Cardinals fans, I'm sorry, Jermaine Johnson is going 8th overall to the Atlanta Falcons. You got that pass rush, you've got that corner, and it's a good mix.
I like that pick a lot, and I think there was the dream that was short-lived with Jermaine Johnson sniffing around pick 23 with the Arizona Cardinals. He's been talked about it. Like literally, there were 2 high-profile mocks released earlier this week with Jermaine Johnson going to the Cardinals, and then like 12 hours later, it's like Jermaine Johnson's going top 10. So I'm going to get a quick ad read here. We're going to touch base on the first 8 picks, and we're going to keep this party moving. I want to remind everybody, okay, deep breath. Phoenix Suns, they play basketball tonight, and the NBA playoffs mean next level basketball. You can get in on the action via the DraftKings Sportsbook app, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. This week, new customers can bet just $5 on any team to win. Get $150 in free bets instantly, no matter what. You can also bet on the NFL draft. We've got an NFL draft props specific show tomorrow. PHNX Bets Daily Podcast at noon. myself, Shane Diefenbach. All DraftKings Sportsbook customers can also bet during the first round of the NBA playoffs with same-game parlays. Combine multiple bets from the same game for an even bigger payout. The more legs you add, the more money you can win. Plus, place the same-game parlay each day with 3 or more legs. You can get up to $25 back if one leg doesn't hit. DraftKings is hooking you up. All you got to do is download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use that promo code PHNX. Bet $5 on any NBA team to win their game during the first round of the playoffs. Get $150 in free bets. That's promo code PHNX at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 and over. Arizona only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customer only. Minimum $5 deposit. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for more details. Miss Leah, how we looking 8 picks into our 2022 mock draft? Look at that gorgeous graphic. We've got
amazing.
Trayvon Walker, Aiden Hutchinson went second overall, Evan Neal from my man Damien. Icky, because I don't want to pronounce his name because I'm sure I'm going to butcher it, went 4th overall. Kayvon Thibodeau, Charles Cross, Garrett Wilson, Jermaine Johnson. So, gentlemen, 7 of the first 8 picks up front, big heavies on both lines of scrimmage. Damien, you going to keep that trend moving? You're moving, my man.
I'm going to change it up and add a little sauce to it, guys, with Sauce Gardner. Yes, with Sauce Gardner from the University of Cincinnati. I mean, the dude's a stud, not having any touchdowns scored on him. And I know that the question has been about the competition, but he did his thing against Notre Dame. He plays at a high level. He measures well. He's big, he's long, and he's fast, and he just gets the job done. And we know what Pete Carroll is in terms of a defensive schematic, head coach. So yeah. I think that's why him and Russell Wilson butted heads, because he knows how to win, in his mind, championships. And here we are starting Legion of Boom all over again.
I like that pick a lot. I think that pick makes a lot of sense for what this team wants to get back to doing. They don't have any corners of note. And I feel like Pete Carroll's probably like, I'm not going to be in this position, even though he's wrong. Picking top 10, they can manufacture pressure. They don't have those big, lengthy lockdown corners. And Sauce Gardner, I think, has never given up a touchdown at the collegiate level. Now, Cincinnati competition, but that's true. They were in the Final Four for a reason. So, am I back up here with the New York Jets here at pick 10? Man, oh man, we got some choices to make. So the Jets have already gone offensive tackle. I for some reason now have both Jets picks. I would love to trade this pick for Deebo Samuel, get him up out of the NFC West, but that's not how we're going to do things here on this show. We're going to keep it relatively conservative here. I'm going to go back to my big board here, and I think the Jets are sniffing around the cornerback market. I think they like Derek Stingley Jr. out of LSU. I think they helped themselves. Elijah Moore is a receiver they took last year. I think they like the rapport with he and Zach Wilson. I don't think they want to force a receiver here. I think they could go receiver in the second round. They got 2 picks, but Derek Stingley Jr. with Sauce are the top 2 corners, and then there's a drop-off. So I think Joe Douglas and company know that in the Jets building, and I feel like they think, okay, we need somebody to lock up Stephon Diggs. We need a number 1 corner, and they get one from LSU.
Robert Saleh, defensive guy. They said that they're gonna emphasize defense after their first draft with Zach Wilson. They were going offense. So look, that's a good pick. Derek Stingley, as far as the skill set, that's what you want. 11th overall, the newly named Washington Commanders. They bring in Carson Wentz. It's a team that is near and dear to my heart. I grew up in the D.C. area. I've watched this dumpster fire for far too long.
The Commandos. Commando.
Yes, they're going commando with Carson Wentz. 11 is a wild card for some of the wide receivers that the Arizona Cardinals covet. And I think Jamison Williams is in play here. I think, look, you pair this guy with scary Terry McLaurin. Either one of these guys is going to look great. Opposite him, I think they go Drake London from USC as the second wide receiver off the board in our PHNX Cardinals mock draft at 11th overall. Drake London, playmaking wide receiver from USC, goes 11th.
Can I intervene real fast? So I like that pick. I think it's the right pick because I think when you talk about Jamison Williams, we talked about it on yesterday's show, the teams that can, quote unquote, roll the dice on a player who's coming off a torn ACL have to come from stable organizations or where there's stability with the head coach GM combination. Ron Rivera needs to win this year, right? There's going to be pressure for them to win. Their offense was terrible last year. I think some head coaches, GM combinations may be infatuated with Jameson for the right reason. But when push comes to shove on Thursday night in front of your owner, can you roll the dice? Is your medical team confident enough to take a kid with a torn ACL in the top 15? We haven't seen it since Todd Gurley once upon a time. So I do think you could get some teams that say, not for us. We respect the talent. We respect the kid, but we can't afford it. We got to win now. Just throwing that out there.
I agree with Jalen Blair too. I think a guy like the safety out of Notre Dame could absolutely be in play. I'm shocked he's still on the board. Love him, Kyle Hamilton. It's kind of scary that he's still there, and that could be somebody that a team could trade up for.
Positional value, though, we saw it with Derwin James once upon a time.
Bo, you and I are here. Because with the Vikings first round selection at number 12, they select safety from the University of Notre Dame, Kyle Hamilton. He has all the intangibles: size, range, speed, play recognition, and they have some familiarity at that position from Notre Dame guys. We talk about the Cardinals in Washington. That's the Vikings with Notre Dame draft prospects. So obviously he could come in and make immediate impact. I like him really anywhere over this board. I would say between like 5 and 15 in terms of Kyle Hamilton. The Vikings their offense has always been solid dealing with injuries. They've made some key additions up front, getting the big defensive end from the Packers that didn't play last year, but adding Kyle Hamilton in the secondary and Pat P outside in the other corner. They could do some major things on defense.
Harrison Smith and Kyle Hamilton at the safety position would be pretty deadly on the back end, just like what the Cardinals kind of had with Jalen and Buddha.
We're back to the Houston Texans here at pick 13. This is the pick from the Cleveland Browns for Deshaun Watson. We could say it until the cows come home. This team needs just about anything. I think this team would love to take a premier corner or safety if one of those big 3 defensive backs fell to them. Hamilton, Stingley, Sauce Gardner. It did not happen. We have known this organization has been sniffing around wide receivers this offseason. Brandon Cooks is back with them on a reworked deal. I still do not think it behooves them to ignore the receiver position. Again, you're trying to support what's his name? Jordan Mills? Yeah,
Davis.
Jordan Davis. Davis
Mills. Yes.
I was thinking of the breakfast cereal. With that being said, I think they go a safe route. They go Ohio State wide receiver Chris Olave. They get what Will Fuller was supposed to be once upon a time: better durability to pair with Brandon Cooks, somebody that can stretch the field. Again, Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, I both feel like will be definitive top 15 picks. The second of the 2 Ohio State wide receivers go by pick 13 to Houston.
Cardinals fans are getting antsy in their pantsy as they see Jameson Williams just fall down the draft board. The Ravens at 14. Look, Lamar Jackson wouldn't know what to do with Jameson Williams. Can he sling it over that defense enough to get a guy like J-Mo going?
They went receiver last year.
They did.
Don't be greedy, Baltimore. Don't be greedy.
They can go a couple different ways. Could they go interior offensive line, a guy like Zion Johnson in play? They could go in the secondary. Do they like Booth out of Clemson? Or do they want to go with the wide receiver? Or could they go with that D tackle, Jordan Davis? You mentioned you almost took him off the board by talking about Davis Mills. Jordan Davis, the big mountain of a man from Georgia. I like him here for the Ravens. It kind of just fits their mentality. He is only kind of a 2-down guy, but he makes a big impact out there. The anchor of any defense he's going to go to. They're going to take from the national champion Bulldogs, Jordan Davis off the board. 6'6", 340. And what did he run at the combine, Damien?
4.8?
4.7, guys. 4.7.
Smoking.
Yeah. He's a stud.
Jalen Blair brings up something good in the chat. I feel like the Vikings are committed to a defensive player. So Jordan Davis, Kyle Hamilton. I mean, I wouldn't discount a Trent McDuffie if they fell in love with him. Their offense, they got an offensive head coach. They are offensively blessed, even if with Kirk Cousins. I think their defense is so far removed from what it once was, once upon a time when they were making NFC title games. I feel like Minnesota has to go defense at pick 12, but I digress. Go ahead, Damien.
So I'm guessing, guys, we're on the Eagles.
You have the right pick, Johnny?
Yeah.
We were just at 14 with Baltimore, right?
Well, yeah, but I was just speaking a little bit on Minnesota in the chat.
All right.
Yeah, me too. I was like, okay. Right. No, I mean, but last year they had Devontae Smith. Jalen Hurts tends to go. I mean, he's a dual threat. He's what we see. He's the modern day, to me, what I think would eventually be Malik Willis. I don't see them going there. So, guys, just stay with me while I'm here in thought. And I'm trying to figure out, what they need on offense. They're pretty solid when the guys are healthy. But I like corner, and I like the Elam kid from Florida. So I like him at corner. I think that they just need to address some situations. I think they could be offensively productive, but I think that they go defense here at this pick.
I think the Eagles are destined to take a defensive back with one of their 2 first-round picks, either 15 or 18. I think that's the right play. It's really, yeah, it's your preference as a defensive coordinator. Once you get past Stingley Jr. and Sauce Gardner, it's like Trent McDuffie, Elam. Like, what better fits your scheme? I think Elam's the better prospect because he's got better ball skills and he played a higher level of competition. Trent McDuffie, who was linked to the Arizona Cardinals, very safe pick, but I think his ceiling is significantly lower. We are on the clock now. Pick 16, New Orleans. They got this from Indianapolis once upon a time. I'm going to roll the dice here. I'm going to say a certain quarterback out of the University of Liberty, Malik Willis, going to the Saints at pick 16. Do I think it's likely they can stay put? No. But they traded up for a reason. They have no succession plan at the quarterback position. Jameis is not the answer long-term, but you have a luxury now. You can start Jameis next year and sit Malik. Malik sets that dome on fire. Tremendous athlete, has a huge arm, and I think is exactly what a franchise, New Orleans, is down a little bit. Lost their head coach, lost their quarterback 2 years ago. This starts the new era of Saints football, and they can feel good about trading up when Malik Willis falls into their lap at pick 16, Bo.
Yep, no doubt about it. Are we going to get a glimpse at the board after we talk about athletic greens?
Yeah, let's do athletic greens, then let's party on the draft board.
Absolutely. I'm drinking the athletic greens on a daily basis. I'm feeling great. I'm sleeping well. I have more energy. Our partner has a product that I literally use every day. Talking about athletic greens, it's absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, so many things to start your day right. It supports better sleep, as I mentioned, quality recovery. Athletic Greens has over 7,000 5-star reviews. We could use some of those as far as our Apple podcast goes. It costs less than $3 a day, plus you're investing in your health. To make it easy, AG Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/Cardinals. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/Cardinals to take ownership over your health and pick up ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Leah, how's our big board looking? 16 picks in. Ooh, it's gorgeous. Trayvon Walker going 1, Aiden Hutchinson, Evan Neal, Icky Awunye, or wow, what is it?
I'm going to have you pronounce that on Thursday night. I'm not going to tackle that.
I appreciate that. After the commissioner does it and bro hugs him, we'll get it up there as well. Kayvon Thibodeau, Charles Cross, the tackle from Mississippi State, Garrett Wilson, the first wide receiver off the board, Jermaine Johnson going 8 to Atlanta, Ahmed Sauce Gardner going 9 to Seattle. Get that Legion of Boom back. Derek Stingley Jr. going to the Jets at 10. Drake London going to the Commanders at 11. Kyle Hamilton at 12. Chris Olave at 13 to Houston. Jordan Davis to the Ravens at 14. Kaiir Elam out of Florida going to Philly at 15. Malik Willis, your first quarterback off the board at 16. The New Orleans Saints. It has me picking 17 for the Los Angeles Chargers. We can go a couple different ways here. Yeah. I still don't want to break the Arizona Cardinals' hearts here. I've seen Jameson Williams mocked to the Chargers.
Don't get greedy, Chargers. You have 2 stud receivers. Get the hell out of here.
They do. They just signed J.C. Jackson at the corner position. So could they look at Trent McDuffie?
Can they draft a new head coach by chance, Bo? Can they get rid of that joker?
I think that they might go. Do they continue to just kind of boost the offensive line?
I think so.
To protect a guy in Justin Herbert who's going to break Kyler Murray's contract record when he signs it. We have Trevor Penning still on the board out of Northern Iowa. So let's send him to LA. He can play second fiddle there with the rest of the Bolts to the Rams in Hollywood.
You're getting some love in the chat. Chargers feel like Trevor Penning to lock up right tackle, says Jalen Blair. I agree with that. Man, can you imagine going from Northern Iowa to Los Angeles playing for the Chargers? Good hell.
Love it. Love it.
It's like when DJ
Best
came
thing
to the
ever.
desert.
It's like when you're the Eagles and you get 2 first-round picks. You know what I mean? And with that second pick at number 18, it's gonna. I'm just gonna throw it. I'm gonna throw it to the group. It's gonna be a Penn State guy. It's gonna be either offense or defense.
Ooh.
I'm just gonna throw. It's gonna be a round table here, guys. Well, I mean, because I'm eyeing Jahan Dotson, but I know Arnold. I hope I pronounce his name correctly. Ebiketie, something like that. Arnold Ebiketie. So at defensive end, very similar to a Chandler Jones, what we know out here in the Valley. But I think that there are 2 guys I'm sure that the Cardinals are eyeing. But I'm going to go. They need some offense. Win defense last pick. I'm going Jahan Dotson at receiver.
That'd be rough to see because there's your safety net for the Arizona Cardinals and their fan base. Because I think a lot of Cardinal fans feel like, well, Dotson will be there when we pick 23. That's our fallback, right? Now, I think you're right, Damien. As we get closer to Thursday night, I think there's a really good chance Treylon Burks falls to the end of the first round, if that. And I think Jahan Dotson is going to be a top 20 pick. It just feels like Saints, Eagles, all these multiple picks. It just feels like profound outside receiver. I think that's the right play. As we trudge along here, back to the New Orleans Saints at pick 19. So they went offense. They got their franchise cornerstone, Malik Willis. They have to figure out what's going on with Michael Thomas. I don't think they go back to the receiver pool. I think they go on the defensive side. Remember, Dennis Allen is now their head coach. I think they roll the dice here and say, we've got a culture that can support this young man, Devontae Wyatt, defensive tackle, Georgia, getting after Tom Brady, right, and building back up that defensive line, I think is the right move. You talk about just from a talent standpoint, you bring in a Malik Willis and a Devontae Wyatt with your first 2 picks. That's an infusion of new blood going to the Big Easy and really establishing themselves as we're here to stay in the NFC South. We're not going anywhere.
I hate my pick, but I think it just makes too much damn sense with the Pittsburgh Steelers, a kid that played on the same field, Heinz Field, his college days, and Kenny Pickett. I don't like Kenny
I love
Pickett
your pick. I would love to will that into existence.
I just think that you can't roll forward with Mitchell Trubisky as QB1 in the Steel City. I think this is them grasping, and their fan base is going to pound the table for it. Probably Kenny Pickett, 20th overall, the Pittsburgh Steelers, second quarterback off the board.
So I was at the Combine quickly with our GM Saul Bookman in March, and all the talk, and it's continued, was the Steelers are infatuated with Malik Willis. Do you guys agree if they want Malik, they will have to move up to get him?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Can you imagine wanting Malik Willis and having to settle for Kenny Pickett's Mr. Small Hands in Pittsburgh? I don't care that he played his college ball there. And by the way, Bo asked me before the show today how big my hands were, and I felt like that was a shot at me as somebody who's 5'6.5". But 2
get that half in there.
Yes, get that half in there. Maybe 3/4, 5'6" and 3/4. If 2 quarterbacks go above the Cardinals, we're in really good shape. I don't know if it's going to happen, gentlemen, but if we can get Kenny Pickett and Malik Willis above pick 23, Damien, we are locked and loaded.
But we're close, and we're got at 21 with the Patriots, and I'm thinking they're going to go defense. That's just a Bill Belichick. When was the last time that he picked an offensive guy? What was it? It was an ASU kid, right? From the last time that they drafted the first round wide receiver from here, Chandler. But I'm going with Karlaftis. I'm going with George Karlaftis at 21. I just think he fits the mold. He's a high motor guy I think Belichick loves, and he's going to be able to bring it from first through 4 quarters. And you could point and tell him to go anywhere. And I think that a guy like that coming from the Midwest fits right into those back east programs.
I hate that pick for everybody but the Patriots. I think that makes so much sense. Once upon a time, look what he did with somebody like Rob Ninkovich, right? He makes these guys, these tweeners, these huge edge guys into stalwarts in the Northeast, Big Ten or otherwise. That's a great pick. I could definitely see that happening. High IQ, somebody who's going to have a much better, if he ends up with Belichick, pro career than college career. What is this? Johnny the next Welker? Don't slander him. I wish I could move like Wes Welker, but sadly I moved like Johnny Venerable. All right, so we've arrived, gentlemen, at pick 22, right before the Arizona Cardinals. If you've just joined, it's a collaborative effort here. The Arizona Cardinals. I'm not going to stab everybody in the heart in this mock draft. I do think if we get to this point and Jameson Williams is available a couple picks before the Cardinals, if Steve Keim does not trade up, there will be an outcry for his job. So we're going to play it safe here. I actually don't think, by the way, the Green Bay Packers are taking a receiver. I think they're going to take one later. Remember, they've got another first-round pick here, and I feel like they want to go a little bit more on the value perspective because I don't think they value receivers like everybody else, clearly, right? You don't trade away a star receiver because you value the position. And I don't think
their system,
right?
Like, hey, it's our system. It's not the guys.
Yeah. They want to spread the ball around. And I also don't think Jameson Williams fits them because they're in a win now mantra. And they got to be patient with him. We know a team that can be patient at 23. At 22, I think this is where we're going to see the first interior offensive lineman. We're going to go Zion Johnson, Boston College, Mahler. They're going to go full on. We got to protect an aging Aaron Rodgers. We're going to run heavy with Aaron Jones and the kid from Boston College. What was him? Did he go to Boston College too? The other running back?
No, Zion. Yeah, from the Packers. Yep, he sure did.
So they got they got the Boston College connection there. Has anybody pointed that? AJ Dillon went to Boston College.
Yep.
Zion Johnson, Boston College. They just did that on the fly, gentlemen.
Wicked awesome. That's what that is. That's what they would be saying back in Boston. I don't. So I'm picking at 24. We've got to get consensus here.
I don't think we need to have a discussion.
We all are in agreement as far as who the pick is. We're speaking it into existence?
Did we throw the card in, Johnny?
People. What's that?
Did we throw the card in? Like, are we just throwing it at him?
If Steve Keim does not rip his pants running to the phone to get this call in to Roger Goodell, they better have all the cameras on. Again, I don't think we'll ever get to this point because if Jameson Williams, if he's in the mid-teens or the high teens, you pick up the phone, you call Howie Roseman, you call Mickey Loomis in New Orleans, and you get up and you make the pick. But for the sake of entertainment, for the sake of this mock draft, yes, it's a done deal.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that the Packers go for the right receiver at 22. I don't think that they view Jameson Williams as that guy because he's not going to be able to play right away. They are attached to Darren Waller. It might give him. He plays the tight end position. I don't know. I don't think they. I mean, Jameson Williams doesn't really.
But when was the last time that they went first round wide receiver?
Not with Aaron Rodgers as their quarterback.
No.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And
I mean, Donald Driver, Devontae. These are all day 2 picks.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Put the card in.
Put it in.
With the 23rd pick in the PHNX Cardinals.
Yes. Select. Johnny?
Get Jameson out there. Bro hug.
I might not be able to drink my beer at the end of the night if this happens because I'll be blacked out. I won't be coherent enough to function if the Cardinals end up with Jameson Williams at pick 23.
But what's the expectation of when he's coming back? Is he coming back week 8?
Whatever. This is a second. This team sucks in the second half. They can win games in the first half without him, and then you roll him out October, November, December. Like it's like you're fine tuning a Corvette. And it's not quite ready yet. And then you bust him out for the second half of the season, that stretch run when you inevitably fall apart and nobody can prepare for him. No defense has seen it.
Can he sack
we'll get to that. We got 55 still. We haven't dealt that away. We get developmental guys.
I just want to make sure that he could sack the quarterback and block. I just want to make sure because it's on my needs list.
If this happens because you are preparing for the future with your quarterback, you're locking him in at some point after this draft. It doesn't matter, what the first couple months of the season look. And we're seeing viral videos of Jameson working out. He looks fantastic. He looks better than Johnny and myself on our best days. And he's coming off at the ACL tear. I mean, you are coupling Kyler with a guy who plays to his complete strength, throwing the ball over the top of the defense, and to think about doing that for the next half decades, it's fun.
And AJ Green wears down at the end of the year. You just you max out his reps. You put Jameson next to him. They study film together. He's side by side with him and D-Hop. right? You just get him engraved in his culture. Plus, this is an organization, and then we'll move on, that inevitably waits to an extent of it's too long. Remember how careful they were with Kyler last year, and everything that went into that decision with Hopkins. Like they waited it out. This is not a team. Like if I'm Jameson Williams, I don't trust my development with the Washington Commanders, right? I trust the Cardinals to do right by me with my rehab. And this is a long-term play. This is not a move for September of 2022.
All right, I'm back on the clock with the Dallas Cowboys at 24. How'd you guys do me this dirty that I got a pick for Jerry in his Cowboys at 24 overall? Zion Johnson is off the board. I think that would have been a decent pick. Somebody to play opposite Diggs and then secondary would be pretty impressive for them. You've got Lewis Seen from Georgia, who's a very impressive safety. But I think that they'll probably go try to rebuild that offensive line, protect their main asset in Dak Prescott. And I think that they'll take the kid, the local product out of Texas A&M, Kenyon Green, in the interior offensive line.
Yeah, I like that. Safe, easy pick.
A lot of their offensive linemen are breaking down too.
Yeah, they're getting old, at that position. And that you just secure, Dak's future with the team and giving him all that money. You got to protect him. So, that's definitely smart.
You got to get Zeke going too.
Jones.
Yeah. Zeke going. You're paying him all that money. You open up some holes for that guy.
For sure. I
want to remind everybody, children 5 and older are eligible for the COVID-19 vaccine. The vaccine is the best tool we have to reduce the chances of getting sick. The vaccine can reduce the risk of being hospitalized or even dying from the disease. It's safe, free, and highly effective. And vaccines are available throughout Arizona. Visit azhealth.gov/find vaccine for our location nearest to you. Leah, can we get an update, please? And a celebratory one at that. Of all these picks, 17 to 24, gentlemen, which do you feel like is most likely to happen?
Trayvon Walker.
No, I'm saying 17 to 24.
Oh,
the ones we just did.
17.
I feel like I really am warming up to that Karlaftis pick for New England, even though people are saying he's fallen a little bit. Like Belichick, I think he's done taking skill players in the first round. Yeah. He's gotten burned by so many Sony Michels and N'Keal Harrys. Like they want to get back to kicking ass up front on the line of scrimmage. I think Karlaftis is one of my favorite picks of this entire mock draft to the Patriots.
But you hate him to the Cardinals.
Because I don't trust the Cardinals. Bill Belichick makes defensive ends in his sleep, right? Yeah, if we had Bill Belichick running the show, I love Vance Joseph. No, you don't get any more defenders, right? Belichick would have made Zaven Collins an All-Pro by now.
All right.
You all know it. I'm on the clock.
Are you at the Bills with 25?
Yeah, I'm at the Bills with 25. I think that you love everything about Josh Allen and what he's able to do offensively. Don't really see a lot of holes there, but I think they could always add a little bit of pieces on defense to make a more complete team. I'm going to go with Devin Lloyd, linebacker from Utah. I saw him this year when he played University of Arizona, and the guy was just a freak. He was the only one that running around the football field. You saw him all year round on highlights. He's long. He has great explosiveness. He has all the traits that you want at linebacker, and he has speed of this game, then position versatility where he could play the Mike, Sam, and the Will, and be in coverage, and he likes to thump. So I think he'd make a great addition. Only thing about it, he's coming from Utah, so he can play in Buffalo too. It gets cold there. So that's what I like at the Buffalo at 25.
I like it. I think, listen, the Buffalo Bills are on the cusp of winning that conference, and they need, they're a team. The Cardinals are not 1 or 2 players away.
Yeah.
The Buffalo Bills are that. If the Buffalo Bills nail this draft, they're going to have, a long sustained success of championship aspirations. Or their window can close fairly quickly. And I think that's what's going to happen to the next team on the clock. The Tennessee Titans at pick 26. Oh, man, I'm tempted to go quarterback here because of how bad Ryan Tannehill looked, but I do think he is tied to this coaching staff, this organization. Their secondary has been terrible. They drafted a corner last year. He's a developmental guy. I'm going to go outside the box here, and I'm going to stay in the box with a box safety, Daxton Hill, University of Michigan. I just feel like a Harbaugh guy going to that organization with their head coach, kind of hand in hand. Listen, we get into the 20s and it's kind of all bets are off. We've talked about it. After pick 17, 18, 19, 20, there's going to be a uneven consensus of what's pick 20 and what's pick 40, right? And I think all these guys are going to mix and match in together. I think we could see a second safety going into the 20s, and I think it's Mr. Hill from Michigan to Tennessee.
It's a good pick, and you've got Tampa Bay. They're bringing back Tom Brady. They're losing Bruce Arians. They're bringing in Todd Bowles. I think that they could potentially try to bolster that defensive secondary with Bowles. They still got some old edge rushers there. They drafted a guy in the first round, I think, at edge too, so more of a project. I think that they could go Trent McDuffie here. I think Trent McDuffie, a guy that the Arizona Cardinals are eyeing out of Washington to play corner. And lock him in for the next couple of years. Bowles with that defensive background, they got burned by Cooper Kupp that, knocked him out of the playoffs. Maybe they go corner here. Trent McDuffie off the board, 27th overall, the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Nice. With the Green Bay Packers with the 28th pick, they select wide receiver from the University of Georgia, George Pickens. And
damn.
He's got the size that they like, and I just think that they get with what you said, Johnny. They got 2 picks in this first round, so I think they're going to change things up and show that Aaron's in charge. Aaron has some influence, and he's getting a guy that they like that's available, and adds value to that wide receiver core. They got to do something. And I don't think it's just they got to go big or go home, and getting them later on, like you said, you talked about value later on in the first round. That's why I like George Pickens from the University of Georgia.
People aren't questioning the importance of the receiver role. They won't be after this draft and the record-setting pace that we're on right now. With I think we've got maybe 7 receivers going in the first round, and we're not even through Kansas City's 2 first rounders. This first one is from San Francisco, the 49ers at pick 29. I think the Kansas City Chiefs would like to take a receiver. I think they wait inevitably. I'm going to double down. They took a linebacker last year, but they get an upgrade right now. Nakobe Dean, linebacker, University of Georgia, field general, somebody that can come in and command that defense. That defense got better at the end of the year, but still a couple pieces away, a couple ass kickers away from being able to support Patrick Mahomes and company on offense. So I think Nakobe Dean can slide right in. He's really, in my opinion, one of the most underrated players. I know Detroit loves him at 32 if he were to get there. I think Kansas City jumps at the chance to add an All-American.
Yeah, Brett Veach is drinking because he's going to immediately change his mind about waiting to get a wide receiver, because with his next pick in this draft at, was it 30th overall? Is that where we are?
We are at, yeah.
There's a couple guys still on the board. Treylon Burks from Arkansas, but he doesn't fit. He plays the slot primarily, and they just signed Juju to that 1-year, $10 million deal. They brought in Marquez Valdez-Scantling to kind of catch on the outside. They've got Travis Kelce, but they need to kind of replace Tyreek Hill, who's going to be the burner in that offense. They're not going to get Treylon Burks. They're going to go with Sky Moore out of Western Michigan.
Damn.
He's the weapon that Andy Reid wants to incorporate in that offense. I like him at 30th overall through the Chefs.
Yeah, Bo, I like him too, just because of the position versatility, and you want to get back to what you had with the pocket rocket that went down to Miami. So I think to move things around, to get him if he's there, you know what I mean? Like I think that helps. So I like Sky Moore with that pick. I'm gonna need the two of your help on this one, guys. I mean, 31 Cincinnati Bengals. I'm thinking offensive lineman.
Yeah.
I don't have my I'm just thinking. I mean, they're solid. They made it to the Super Bowl, right? So offensively, they can run the football. They got great receivers. They got a good tight end. Quarterback's solid. But you need to protect Joe Burrow. He was getting hit way too much. I think everybody could agree with that. Defense, you can find great value in round 2. Offensive lineman. Who do you guys got available?
I think Tyler Lindenbaum is the obvious choice. That's what the fan base wants. I think Cincinnati is a potential sleeper to trade up for one of these top interior offensive linemen. So it falls into their lap.
We are on the eve of draft eve, and we've got the Ainsworth, our party going down on Thursday. Cannot wait for it. Johnny, I know we're excited about it. Just a guest list. Our friends over at Bird Game Travel have just packed it out. Byron Murphy is going to join us. He's going to do a meet and greet with the first 50 people in the door on 4 p.m. at the Ainsworth. Of course, we've got our live show starting at 4. We're going to be breaking down the latest news that day, preview what the Cardinals could do. Could they trade up in this draft? You've got food and drink specials, giveaways. It's all going down on our PHNX draft day. They're increasing capacity. It's going to be an absolute just electric party celebrating NFL draft, the Arizona Cardinals, and of course the Suns, a big game that night, game 6 against the Pels. Hopefully put away those pesky Pelicans in game 6, hopefully after a big win tonight.
You absolutely love to see it. We are so fired up. I'm fired up. I get the last pick in this mock draft, pick 32 to the Detroit Lions. They would love to see a receiver fall to them, gentlemen. It's just not in the cards, right? This is a team that's actually pretty good on the offensive line. They add Aiden Hutchinson. Could they double down at edge rusher? Maybe. I think their secondary, though, leaves too much to be desired. I think they go the kid out of Clemson, Andre Booth Jr., add some size, some much-needed athleticism. I think the Lions, sneaky candidate to go quarterback. I think they go corner. They add 2 defensive staples here in the first round of the 2022 NFL Draft.
I like Corral there.
You do?
I think that's they just kind of roll the dice. They get that extra year.
But I heard Ritter's been jumping up boards too, though.
Desmond Ridder would be good. I mean, I think that's just that's the money pick. And if teams waiting there and they've got a pretty high second round pick and they don't want to wait for and they want that extra year, that they might make a play with Detroit, who's still building something. They've got Jared Goff and they can wait, I guess, if they want, and play the Cardinals next year. And Goff just owns the Cardinals, unfortunately, and so do the Lions.
And if you get him at the 32nd pick, I mean, it's no pressure, right? You know what I mean? It's not like he's going.
And you get that 5th year option.
Yeah. There you go. And you get the 5th year option. And you got Goff there as a security blanket where, hey, we're going to see what this is. Next 1 or 2 years, something happens. We got a guy that we want to develop and we see as a possible future leader of this team.
I want to take a second, pumped to tell you about our new partner, OG's. OG's Brands, they're part of the PHNX family. OG's is Arizona's first original scratch-made cannabis kitchens and is dedicating creating innovative, memorable cannabis-infused products to flavor life's journey. Quality of the products stem from the combination of accurate dosing and amazing flavor. Edibles are not a one-size-fits-all product, which is why OG's is proud to offer a wide range of products for all demographics and all preferences. Their motto, flavoring life, and something we can all get behind. Let's get tropical. They've got tropical fruit flavors, including guava, strawberry kiwi, raspberry orange, and pina colada. You want to learn more about our new partner, OG's? Go to ogsbrands.com. That's OGEEZ brands.com to learn more about OG's.
So fired up, gentlemen. We have the results here. 2022 PHNX Cardinals mock draft. Here it is. Take it in all its glory. A couple standouts that we like that didn't make the first round. Let's start with Mr. Treylon Burks, who we feel like is going to be at this point a fringe first rounder. We're not certain the Cardinals' interest. We know he has met with the Cardinals a couple different times, had a private visit, saw it after and met with them at the Combine, did not make our first-round mock. Gentleman just mentioned it. No Desmond Ridder, no Matt Corral, only 2 quarterbacks, both of which going before pick 20. Also no tight ends, no Trey McBride going in our first-rounder. Best available, you could say, potentially Rayman from the tackle from Central Michigan, still available. Lewis Kine, the safety out of Georgia. Boa Maifa, the edge rusher from Minnesota. I'm sure I'm butchering that name. Breece Hall, the top running back at Iowa State, not available. I think, gentlemen, the mock emphasis of this mock draft is edge rushers, offensive linemen, and receivers. Or where your bread is buttered in 2022.
Yeah, but the Arizona Cardinals were able to kind of get their guy, somebody that they're reportedly in on, Jamison Williams. He's come to a visit, reportedly. So is Treylon Burks. But I just think as far as what the Arizona Cardinals want to do offensively, I don't know if there's a receiver that maybe Garrett Wilson that can do it better, if not, or just equally as J-Mo when healthy. So it would just be that's what I think all of us want to happen come Thursday night. But he's top 10 sometimes projected wide receiver. We'll see what happens with the Alabama product.
I mean, I don't I don't think you could pass him up, Johnny, right? Like if he's there, I don't think that you can, but a lot can happen, right? If there's a run on quarterbacks, which I don't necessarily foresee because I think the value in comparison to the two different positions, right? You got edge rushers, as we talked about, and you got receiver. I don't necessarily know if those top 4 quarterbacks are equate to the value of the guys available. So to me, if it helps out if anything other than a edge rusher and a receiver gets picked, right? So, and what's that's going to be? You can't really identify anyone other than quarterbacks, and hopefully those guys get picked up because there's some unique opportunities in there where a team like the Panthers can draft one, the Saints can draft a quarterback, obviously the Steelers. So anything could happen on draft day. We've all seen that happen.
When Sky Moore and George Pickens are going in the first round, Steve Keim, options are going to be limited at pick 55 for you to get an impact receiver. So I really do feel like it's receiver or bust. Bo Brock, you tweeted out today that is the favorite in Vegas for the Arizona Cardinals' top pick is receiver. We'll see if that number continues to move in our direction. And speaking of us, we are off tomorrow. Mr. Bo Brock has a travel day, and then we will be live at the Ainsworth, 4 p.m. on Thursday for the first round of the 2022 NFL Draft. I want to encourage everybody, go RSVP, come out, hang out with us, drink specials, food, all you want. And Byron Murphy, CB1 of the Arizona Cardinals, we will be there. I cannot wait, gentlemen. The comments are coming in fast and furious. I think we've reached the point now where Cardinal fan base, it's Jameson Williams or bust. I was thinking about it earlier today. When was the last pick that was universally loved by the Cardinal fan base? I think maybe Isaiah Simmons, maybe Josh Rosen. That was it. If Jameson Williams is the pick on 23, should we end on this? Would it be universally loved by Cardinal fans?
I mean, I think it would be hard to argue it, right? I think that given the unknown with D-Hop, just his explosiveness and everything that we've talked about, especially here on PHNX Cardinals, and his ability just to make plays and extend offenses and make them dynamic. Those are words that you share about Kyler Murray. So to have another piece, add it with DeAndre Hopkins and add it with all these dynamic pieces, that's what you expect from the offense, next level stuff. But I don't think that they'll be mad if they fall into the laps of a Jermaine Johnson. You know what I mean? Like or Arnold Beckety. I apologize if I'm slaughtering your name. But if they get two guys like that, I think that they would love it as well. But JMO will be huge for this offense and just next level. As you mentioned, Johnny, not necessarily the first half, but for the second half of the season where the Cardinals tend to struggle.
And then you just got to flood the position the rest of the draft at the pass rush, the defensive line, maybe even cornerback spot.
Linebackers.
You're gonna have 7 other picks to deal with. And look, you get the position that is going to be thin by that point in the draft. Get him, and if people want to complain that he's going to be out early on, look, just point out that he's going to be joining Kyler Murray for the next couple of years in the foreseeable future. It's just have to be a little patient to see that connection happen, and then once it does, I think it's going to take the NFL world by storm.
And guys, in Keim's presser, he talked about that he's in talks with Kyler about just personnel things. What do you think is Kyler's preference out of all these receivers?
It's funny you should ask that. I had somebody DM me right before the show started, said on a Kyler Murray Twitch stream, video game stream, somebody asked him about Jameson Williams. His ears perked up, big smile on his face. I would imagine that is his preference. I don't know that for sure. I can't imagine it's not going to be a receiver. And how can you go wrong with somebody that dominated the SEC?
So it's a cousins of a friend's Uber driver. Heard it.
That's where I get all my sources. If you're on Twitter, that's where they come from. I want to remind everybody, be sure to like this podcast, leave us a 5-star review, subscribe on YouTube, PHNX Sports. Check out gophnx.com. We've got coverage. We've got mock drafts. We've got Vets on Prospects with Damien Anderson and Frank Sanders. Become a member, just under $60 for the first year or 50 cents for the first month, $8.99 for the subsequent months. Again, off tomorrow, back and better than ever on Thursday, April 28th, live from the Ainsworth, wall-to-wall coverage of the 2022 NFL Draft for Bo Brock, Damien Anderson. I'm Johnny Venerable. Let's strap in, gentlemen. We'll see you soon.